We're about to find out how much team chemistry matters because the Fever have it. Their team chemistry is on tilt. You can just see it in the photos that they shared, that the Fever shared, and everything that transpired, even from the fan base since then. Let me first also point out Caitlin Clark is a different level of famous, right? Like, she is so famous where a goofy face in a photo becomes news. That is how famous Caitlin Clark is. And this is the goofy photo that I'm referencing. I know a WNBA defense hates to see this trio coming. You know, Aaliyah Boston looking so earnest as Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark are goofing off. I never in a million years would have thought I would be doing coverage of a still photo like that, but that's the kind of the kind of motion that Caitlin Clark has. There's the full version of it. They're together, and we've seen, that chemistry on the floor, of course, in the way that they've played, and we've seen it off the floor in the way that they've bonded, whether it's the TikToks that Aaliyah Boston shares or the, team bonding activities they did during practice during the Olympics break or the outings that they've done. You can see it. They seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company, which matters. It does matter, right? And you had Kelsey Mitchell say this, which may or may not, but this is what Kelsey said.
I did good. Okay. My project. These are my Fever girls forever.
Fever girls forever, according to Kelsey Mitchell. And we know she is a free agent. So I'm sure some fans took that very positively to the assumption that perhaps she wants to stick around because she was with or would be with her Fever girls forever if she were indeed to do that. Then there was Aaliyah Boston talking about her whole bow bow celebration that has become a thing.
Bow, bow, bow is just the energy, okay? That's just the energy, and you bow, 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 and I really just run with it.
Is the shoulder pop required part?
No, it is now. So I've added it, absolutely.
Do you feel like it's helped you with energy, doing it a couple times every game?
Yeah, I think it's just good vibes. I mean, when people hear it, they smile, and then they kind of get a little shoulder action in too, so it's pretty nice.
So is that the description of the team as a whole? Bow, bow, bow. Did I get the shoulder thing right? I don't know. Aaliyah just seems like such a wonderful person. Impossible not to like is Aaliyah Boston. And, it's impossible not to like and appreciate this Fever team right now. Just an incredibly likable team in addition to being a good team. And you start to wonder what they're capable of doing this season. I've mentioned it. If Lexi Hull can hit those open threes, look out. They're getting Teme Fagbenle back, which is a big deal. That's not insignificant, right? Like to get a player like that back, it's like making an acquisition. You've got the chemistry between Clark and Boston, the production of Mitchell. This is a team that's really rolling, and they seem to be at ease. This was Teme getting some shots up on the court. And, of course, you credit the entire team for that, right? Like, Aaliyah Boston has that kind of infectious personality. You want to credit the entire team for that. Obviously, you also credit Caitlin Clark for that, given the way she commands a team and the way she shares the basketball, right? Like, that's the kind of thing that can help grow that team camaraderie, the selflessness that Caitlin Clark shows out on the court. Everybody knows they're going to get theirs when they're playing with her. Everybody understands that. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees that. And that's one of the reasons you're seeing more and more MVP talk for Clark. I've put it out there. Rebecca Lobo, this old tweet is resurfacing. If Caitlin Clark gets drafted to the Indiana Fever this summer, I believe she will put up MVP caliber numbers as a rookie. While her opponents will be at a different skill level than in college, her teammates will be at another level as well. Her game translates it. And, that's a similar point that I made before the season started. With the way she played, I always thought she would get even better at the WNBA level because her teammates would get even better. And she's landed in a great situation with a great team. Remember the takes at the beginning of the year about like how they were sabotaging her? I mean, I know that was a small minority of people, but it's really particularly mind-bogglingly crazy in retrospect, given the way that this team is playing and given the way that they're rolling and given the way that Clark is playing and now being recognized by everyone, right? I saw Rashad McCants called Caitlin Clark an omega level mutant, a la Jean Grey from the X-Men. Omega level mutant just means a mutant of so much power that it is impossible to kind of combat or harness necessarily. Jean Grey in the comics became the Phoenix, of course. And right now, Fever is rising like a Phoenix. That's for sure. And I saw another bit of news that was in contrast to this a bit. And that was whatever happened with the Chicago Sky in the practice leading up to the game with the Connecticut Sun and the reunion with Marina Mabry. I don't want to read too much into things because I don't know what happened. But sometimes a trade makes so little sense that you wonder if something else, if there's more to it. And we later found out that Mabry requested the trade. We don't know why, but she requested the trade. And when I first saw the trade, I was confused because the Sky only have two players or only had two players who could shoot or create their own shot. One being Mabry, who they traded, and the other being Kennedy Carter, who isn't exactly reliable. But there was this interaction before the game at the practice or the shoot around where you can see Marina Mabry in the foreground, like facing the other way of everybody else, while none of her former teammates nor herself go out of their way to interact with one another. I mean, she's up against the chairs there, so maybe it's just like the awkwardness of the placement, if you will. But, you know, there's daps and stuff going around, and this was pointed out online, and you don't see anything from Mabry to any of her former teammates. Now, that doesn't mean something didn't happen before or after this footage was captured. You know, I try not to delve too much into the drama, but Mabry had also said after the trade went down, she was finally on a team with a championship level focus. So I did find it interesting and in contrary to what I just shared with the Indiana Fever. And right now, the Sky have a precarious hold on a playoff spot in the WNBA, while the Fever seem to have a stranglehold on a playoff spot when it comes to the standings. And for the Fever, I really think, you know, this is a team that's not only dangerous for any opposing team in the playoffs, but it's a team that I wouldn't put a ceiling on.